We got two tonight. One of them's cause my daughter and my wife love ice cream almost as much as life itself. And when we go to the beach every summer, we go down to Longboat Key and we run over to St. Armand Circle because there's a
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's is famous for
Ice cream.
yeah. What did Ben and Jerry really want to make? Okay.
Sorry.
What they had another business venture in mind, but they ended up doing ice cream. What was it?
They actually wanted to make ice, and they were going to sell like these ice things, just like you see it way out here on the
Yeah, like the ice house.
ice house, and the one over there, they were going to do ice, and they were doing that, and the people would come out with that. So they took the ice that they were making, and they started making ice cream with it. And so they used the term. So it was ice. They were going to do those ice things.
But instead they did ice cream.
Ice cream.
That's pretty good. I mean, but those ice things came out long after they'd been making ice cream. So
I know, but just down here in the south, but they were having them up north.
oddly enough, they really wanted to make bagels. They wanted to open a bagel shop, but the equipment was too expensive, so they went with ice cream. They've done pretty well with ice cream.
But they really want to do ice too, though.
And then we have one history question, because we always want everybody to learn something. Atlanta Airport is what? ATL, there's ATL. And Chicago Airport
Is
CHI.
CHI.
And Los Angeles Airport is LA.
LAX.
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 All right, where in the world did X come from?
It came, Los Angeles, it's LA, everybody knows what LA is, Los Angeles, everybody knows that, like, you see the Dodgers, it says LA Dodgers. But LAX is because when they first did airports, they didn't have one in Atlanta, they had one like in New York, they had like in Chicago, they had one in Los Angeles, and Chicago was, and New York was NY, the first one, but then they changed it after they got LaGuardia and all that. And so what happened is Los Angeles wanted to be like, they were fast like jets because that was really, so the Los Angeles Express. So it was called LA Express. And that was LA Express Airport.
You may have just come the closest you've ever come. Because originally there weren't that many airports.
Yeah.
LA went by LA, and New York went by NY before they changed the name and did all that stuff that you do in your hand. And Atlanta, Chicago, they were okay because they already had CHI and ATL. But LA in the 1930s, the International Airline Transportation Association said they all had to have a 3-letter code. And so all of them that were just 2 at that time, they just added an X. So that's where LAX comes from. Your history fact for tonight.
Thank you.
Well, about 2 weeks ago, Aaron asked me to do this, and I could not come up with what to talk about at all, because, I don't know, you can't really give advice on something that you haven't done before in your life, and I'm only 18, so I've only done so much. So I texted everyone in my phone who I have a number for that I know goes to Dropzone and asked them if they could choose the topic for any sermon, what would it be? And I got some really good answers, and I got some really broad answers, but they kind of all went back to how will you keep your faith when you face troubles, or just being able to stay on the right path. So, to begin this, I have a demonstration, and Anna and Alex are the first 2. So, Anna is the good Christian girl trying to stay nice and sweet and innocent. Alex is that bad boy that she wants to date because of his amazing golf skills. Stand up. On the ground. On the ground.
I'm already short.
It's okay. Okay, so how easy do you think it is for her to pull him up without him stepping to her level where she is with God? How easy do you think it will be for him to pull her down? So he's going to try to pull her down. So it's really hard to fall when you're by yourself and you stand alone. But let's say she's up here and she has her best friend, Skylar. Now, her and Skylar, they have really strong bonds, so they're together. No. Now, how hard do you think it is for him to pull her down? Harder, but it can still happen. He can still manage to pull her down, even though there's Skylar holding her back. Now, let's say she's still back up here with God, but she has more friends. So she has Rayleigh, and she has Hunter to help hold her together. So Rayleigh's another bond that she has, and Hunter's another bond that she has. How hard do you think it is for him to pull all of them down now, or to pull her apart from her friends? Really hard. So he's going to try, and he's going to fail. But they're all together in their faith and their walk with God, and they're all trying to get closer and closer to living like Jesus. How easy do you think it'll be for them to be able to spread their faith with him and pull him up to their level? So now, instead of there being a bad boy down there that's negative and influencing her badly, they're all up on this level. Thank you. So we're going to look at 1 Corinthians 15:33. It says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." That relates to the first part where Anna wanted to date Alex, and he very easily pulled her down to the ground. The point is that it's really hard to stay true to who you are and what you believe in when you are surrounded by negative influences. You don't want to, where is it? Okay, never mind then. Oh, okay. You don't want to try to live the good life and become closer to God and then surround yourself during the week with really negative people that can really pressure you into things that you don't want to do. My dad told me a story one time. There's a triangle in your heart, and it's called your conscience. Now, what are triangles known for? 3 points. Well, these points are really, really sharp, and every time you go against your conscience and you do something bad, it turns. And slowly, it begins to turn more and more every time you do something you know you shouldn't do. And over time, just like the way a rock can be weathered down with rain, those points get weathered down to where it doesn't hurt anymore. And eventually it gets to the point that there's no point at all, and it's just a circle. And what happens when a circle starts rolling? It doesn't stop. So then you just keep going on a downhill tumble into negativity and badness. So you really don't want to be surrounded by negative people because they're just going to bring you down, and later on in life you'll regret the decisions you made. So, now to the second part, where she decided to have a friend with her. That shows how you must surround yourself with true Christian friends that have godly morals. Now, when she only had one friend, and she had one negative friend, it still kind of canceled out. She still got pulled down. She still was unable to stay at that high level. So, when she would surround herself with there were 4 of them, then they weren't able to get pulled down. She was able to stay up here because she was united with really good friends. So that goes to show how there really is strength in numbers. You really want to stay away from trouble. So we're going to look at Proverbs 11:8. "The godly are rescued from trouble, and it falls on the wicked instead." So if when she had gotten all of her friends and she was trying to stay on the right path and live her life the way she should, Alex had decided, you know what, I'm not going to fool with you, you're too hard to get now, and went to someone else, then he would have just stayed on the path of negativity and failure. And he would have never amounted to much because he would have just kept making mistakes. And that goes on the second part where it says it falls on the wicked instead. But the godly are rescued. Anna could have been pulled down into the pool of negativity, but instead, since she had good friends surrounding her, she was able to stay positive and stay on her Christian walk with God. Now this goes to the main point of the night. In unity with your godly friends, you can share the love of Christ with your non-Christian friends. We're going to look at Ephesians 4:11 through 16. Now these are the gifts Christ gave to the church: the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, and the pastors and teachers. Their responsibility is to equip God's people to do his work and build up the church, the body of Christ. This will continue until we all come to such unity in our faith and knowledge of God's Son that we will be mature in the Lord, measuring up to the full and complete standard of Christ. Then we will no longer be like immature children. We won't be tossed and blown about by every wind of new teaching. We will not be influenced when people try to trick us with lies so clever that they sound like the truth. Instead, we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, who is the head of his church, head of his body and the church. He makes the whole body fit together perfectly. As each part does its own special work, it helps the other parts to grow, so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love. So, there were a lot of parts in that. And the first part is talking about how God wants us to take our special gifts and use them to spread his word. If you're really good with music, you should use it in the right way. And if you're really good with athletics, you can still use athletics to make a statement with your faith. And later on it says, as you become more united, you're able to not be blown around like the wind. If you have no grounds and you're not rooted or anchored down in any way, then it's really easy just to fall for anything that comes along. If you don't have friends and accountability partners to help keep you on the right path, it's really easy for you to be blown around. There's a metaphor that a lot of people use about trees, and they say that the roots of a tree go just as deep as the height of the trunk going up the tree, and that they span out just as far as the limbs above it do. Without those roots and without those digging deeper and deeper in the ground, if there was ever a storm with a lot of wind, the tree would just fall over, and then it's nothing because it would die. So you have to have those roots anchoring you down to help you stay on the right path. So, once Anna on the stage was surrounded by morally upright people, she, along with her friends, was able to then bring the non-believer Alex to their level. This represents the group's ability to share Christ's love with the non-believer and bring him to Christ. Just because one of your friends is not the best at living the way a Christian should, or if your friend doesn't even know Jesus at all, doesn't mean that you should abandon them. You should still keep your relationships with them, but use that relationship as an advantage to try to share Christ with them. Because if you just abandon them, then they're just standing alone now, and they can be pulled down even easier. You have to be cautious, though, and not let them pull you off of your path. So you have to make sure, once again, that you're surrounded by godly people that can help you. And Aaron all the time talks about accountability partners, but I think you need more than just one partner. I think you need multiple people to help support you. And they don't have to be people that are your own age. It can be people who are older. We have a lot of counselors, and they can help you out when you're in trouble because they've lived longer. So they know more, and they can give better advice. But you also want to have people to support you that might be younger than you, because sometimes they might need you to support them. So you don't want to let people pull you off your path, but instead you want to unite with a good group of friends that can support you and help you and hold you accountable. And then you and them can work together to share the love of God with any of your troubled friends or non-believing friends. So there is a final part that I was going to do, but I don't know if we can do it with this many people. Can everyone stand and start to create a big circle around the room? And hold hands. Excuse me. Excuse me. Now we have one giant group united together, sharing the experience of walking in their path with Christ. How easy would it be for me to pull one person away from all of these people? Very hard, because you have maybe 45 people backing you up. So if I was to try to pull him away from you, how easy? It's a lot harder, right? But if you're still standing by yourself like me, I'm all alone, how easy it would it be for someone, even how small Will is, to pull me in? See? So it's a lot easier to face troubles and hardships in your life when you have people to back you up and help you out and support you. One time, who was it? Coach Hodges told me that when you're striving for success, as you build up your way up the ladder, you're also building cushions for when you fall. Because you earn a high school degree, and then you earn a college degree, and then you earn experience. And let's say you get fired, well, you still have those degrees to back you up and cushion you when you fall away from that job to be able to find another job. It works the same way in this, because as you get more and more friends that are on the right path, if you fall and you hit a hardship in your life, you have them to fall back on, just like the trust falls that we did a few years ago at New Youth Weekend. You'll always have someone to hold you up and help you out when you need them. So it's really important to be united with everyone in the church so that you will not stray off of your path.